to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion consent approve the budget vote on May 17th.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Just a quick note of the budget. I want to thank the community for their support. 68% is very high of our school budget, and hope that that is a reflection of an endorsement of what the school is doing, how we're educating the children. And while we all know there are different perspectives, and we do want to hear them as well, but we are appreciative of the community coming around our favor of what was presented. And just to congratulate Nicole and Shelley West
And yourself.
well, it's odd. We'll be meeting Shelley soon. And Maureen will talk more about this next month, but thank you for all your years of someone. I'll go on for an hour next month.
Okay, good. I'll give you a speech.
Okay. And also, I do want to thank all those who ran. I think when people are willing to basically donate hours and hours and hours of their time for 3 years of their life for the benefit of kids in our community and their education, I appreciate that initiative and effort. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 26, 2022?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? So carried. Now, I'm not sure what we have here, Mr. Squire. What presentations have?
No, switch to the next one. Yeah.
Most of it, okay. Okay. We move on to committee reports. Now, I think we need to have the innovations committee meeting still. Is that, we haven't met since. Or have
Well, I'll give a little report.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So the Innovation Committee met with the Community Task Force stakeholders on May 2nd. And this was our 4th meeting over a series of 5 months this year. And what we talked about again and focused on was some of our goals, which were maximizing consistency and equality among the elementary grades, supporting innovation, and building a stronger learning environment. So based on those goals, we had asked the Community Task Force to center their conversations on May 2nd on 4 concepts. 1, to move grade 5 and or grade 6 to the elementary buildings. 2, to create 2 elementary schools of choice with magnet themes. 3, create 1 primary early learning center and 1 intermediate school. 4, to provide pre-K in both buildings. So those concepts were the center of our conversation the night of May 2nd. And we got a lot of feedback regarding those concepts that the administration is going to put together and provide to the Innovation Committee. So the Innovation Committee will meet. We have to schedule a date to go over that information that's come back to us from the Community Task Force group. And I'd like to thank those that participated in the Community Task Force group to give up their time, and they gave us some valuable information that will come back to the school board to work with. And hopefully after the Innovation Committee meets, we'll decide on what the future will bring. I'm thinking we'll probably have some sort of collective meeting with the school board to decide what direction we should move in down the road. And that's my any questions.
Did you address declining enrollment at all, and how, and those would help? When it was-
We did, and basically that's good. That's going to be the information that the administration is going to compile and get back to the innovation committee. So once we have that information, it'll be sent out like the previous information has been sent out to board members. So that should answer a lot of questions moving forward. So that when we do meet as a board in a retreat to finalize some form of blueprint, I think all those questions can be answered.
Thank you. Education's committee. We're voting on the contract side with the teachers. And having done since then, or do we need to read it on road service? And there's still one administrator, so when do we have to meet? Okay, so we'll set up a meeting for that between now and the next June. The board orientation committee.
We met last Thursday. There was Tara and myself. Had an informal meeting with most of the prospective candidates were able to come, and it was really just an opportunity for them to ask questions of us of what their responsibilities and roles was going to be if they were to be elected board members. We felt that because there was so many people that were looking for the seats, or might not really know what the commitment was going to be, just to give them an opportunity. I think we were there for 2 hours. Had some real good conversation with a lot of the candidates around kind of the role of the board in a lot of the governance of the school. And I guess we'll meet again with Shelley at some point in the next month or so. Get her up and running and train.
It might be something to meet again and think about, because I know we've had some informal discussions, because we know that Catskill did a board candidates night, and I think RCS did one, and we didn't get that piece together, but we were talking about if that were something we would want to do. So maybe the board orientation we might want to look at next year, because as I was going through it, I was thinking, sometimes I don't think of it until I'm in the middle of it, but it would have been nice to do like even an open house for anybody that's interested in running before the petitions are due. And then once people commit, then do the meeting that you had on May 12th. And then discuss it if there were a desire to have a board candidates night kind of thing that other districts have done, and you suggested.
Yeah, the folks who came on Thursday had commented on that as well. Thought that would have been a thing to do. So, yeah, unfortunately, we thought about it a little bit too late.
No, but a lot of them, when they left our meeting, had learned a lot. And, you know, they can carry that on for if they decide to run again, they have that information. So it was a really good meeting.
I actually got a suggestion from Ms. Wilbur just today, maybe or yesterday, about if we had a job description for board members. And I don't believe there is one, but maybe that would be something that you want to look at.
I wonder if the state has one on the website.
One for vice president. One for vice
Site
president.
one,
The school board associations will have something.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So maybe we don't recreate. the wheel,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, but we could create a link to it.
Yeah.
Mhm, Sure.
So I don't know if this is appropriate to ask right now, but we haven't had a superintendent evaluation committee meeting. So for those of us that are on that, before we leave tonight, let's pick a date
Mhm.
so that we can have a meeting.
Yeah.
I have an idea for another committee, but I will wait on that.
Let's wait for Shelley.
There's so much suspense.
I could share it or wait.
Ah,
So, all right.
I'm bad at waiting.
waiting.
I'm bad at waiting.
You
That's-
what?
I said I'm really bad at waiting.
Oh, what is it? Instant gratification?
Yes.
No, it's just, especially this past year, it just has hit me that there's so many small situations that have come up. They're not small to people involved, but where someone, some child or children can't participate in something through no fault of their own. So I thought about it when the music department presented their program, and that there were music instruments that are rented, and that there may be some folks who don't participate in that because of the rental cost. And we had a discussion about that. And as I've experienced, from afar, different things, even my granddaughter experiences, and maybe your kids too, as they experience things. And I just think, well, maybe that's something, and I don't know if that's a board thing, or if it's just in my head, like if it's a board staff parent committee. I'm not even sure how to set it up. I was going to talk to you, Randy, and you folks, but thinking of something along the line of a creative solutions committee. So somebody brings a problem to us, and then we have creative solutions. It may not be money that we're going to vote on. It may be like when I mentioned that I have my older daughter's clarinet in a closet, and it's been there 15 years. Maybe there's a lot of clarinets in closets and things like that.
Yeah.
And then if we could donate that, and then, or have them repaired, pay to, kind of tuned up or whatever, and then donate it, and then people could have it. But that's just one thing. So I'm sure that.
Or like sporting equipment or anything.
Yeah, I'm sure that we, and I just hear about, probably like all of you, I just hear things like, well, we couldn't do that because of that. And I'm like, yeah, we could. I think we could. And I think this is a group, and the administrative and parents, just going through the task force that we've been going through, Bart, with around the what direction we go in with the elementary schools, and the ideas that have come up. I just think, with group think, you get so many exponentially more ideas, together. And some of them are like, oh, it's, you scratch your head on it. So, yeah, maybe we could do that. Why can't we do that? So that kind of, so
I would offer this up instead of creating another committee.
I know it's a bad word.
If you wanted to give that as a task of the innovation committee for the future.
Well, I didn't know if that would be something you would.
I think
that-
that falls under that.
Yeah, well, maybe it is something.
Or liaison.
Yeah,
Or
One of the two.
yeah.
we can draw straws over it.
Sure.
The reason I was thinking of another committee, and not wed to this, but to make sure that, and not that it wouldn't happen, but to make sure that is get paid attention to. Like right now, we give reports on all these things, so that would be paid attention to. So if we're like the innovation, that would be one of the things that the innovation means. So this month we talked about it, and maybe that would be where those requests would go from teachers, parents, anybody interested, stakeholders.
Maybe.
Yeah. I know we all have committees. Okay, thank you. Don't have to wait. Superintendent.
So just kind of, you've seen in your weekly updates, but this week, students from the heavy equipment program, BOCES, began moving dirt on this campus. Still a little wet way back in the woods, but at least they're moving it so you can put it on the trail once it dries up a little bit for them. So they're very appreciative out there twice this week. And the kids are, it's a real job, in the sense of they're on site, they're working, they're the teachers are having to go through all the different steps of doing a project, in that regard. One broken, two pieces of glass. Anyway, part of the job, yeah. For that, so it's a win-win for everybody. A couple of our kids are out there, so You know, I think it could be a model in the future, you know, not just our school, but all the other component school districts as well as these types of things come up. So we're gonna be here for the next couple of weeks, pretty much right up to the end of class time, you know, so it'll be early June, so they'll get as much done as they can. Creating nature trail, and things like that. So, good positive stuff happening. Just the Lighthouse District recognition, it's actually, you know, when the last meeting, the regular meeting was, it's COVID years ago. And again, just a reminder that, you know, we certainly put this out to the community and stuff, you know, CA is one of 13 districts. We are recognized for being part of a cadre of about 130 districts who took a step forward to really think about, you know, as public schools, what do we want to do to make sure our kids are ready for their future? One sentence, something like that. So the last year, we've been talking about this, the National Commission that put together a few years ago, created this report. This is what they felt needed to happen in schools. A lot already happening, but doing better to making sure our kids can be successful for that. And it lined up with a lot of stuff we've been doing here, as far as our readiness indicators and the work we're doing, you know, expanding opportunities for kids and making sure no kids are marginalized. So it kind of dovetailed in with the stuff we were doing. So, so as a result, you know, we said, here's what we're doing, so to speak, and so we've been recognized for that. You know, and again, I think it just shines a light on all the wonderful stuff going on in our schools right now, in our classrooms. You know, this is not my award, right? This is the school district's award. This is the 250 people who work here award, the board's award, you know, the community's award, acknowledgement that we all have a role to play and have had a role to play, you know, in building a more student-centered, you know, focused place to be, you know, for our kids. And now we have an opportunity by being part of this to learn from others across the country, but we're doing like-minded work. And also be able to showcase what we're doing here. You know, and have our kids and teachers show up a little bit of that, about what's happening, you know, in our schools right now. So the, you know, people ask, what are we getting out of this, so to speak, you know, for that? I think what we're getting is just access, for a better way of saying it, to other people who are having the same thoughts that we are about making it better for kids in our schools every day. And so we're looking forward to that, you know, throughout the next couple of years, you know, being part of this, and again, sharing, you know, just like teachers share down the hall, teachers share from school to school, district to district, state to state, you know, share with schools from New York as well as across the country, you know, the work we're doing. And there's a lot of work still left to do, and, you know, to get where we want to be. And I think, like I said, a lot of it lines right up with our 2030 destination, you know, making sure that, you know, I want to make it before the end of the decade, but certainly that at some point our kids all are ready when they graduate, ready for their future. That we make sure every kid, all kids, have an ally here, someone to help them through the process of growing up. We all certainly have the need, you know, for that, to make sure nobody's marginalized, make sure all kids have the supports they need. We all know that the kid who's smart in English might need a little extra help in math. We know the kid who might come from one background might need some extra help because maybe they don't know English, you know, whatever it might be. And it's our responsibility as a public school to make sure our kids have what they need, kind of what we were just talking about. So they have access to reach for the goals and the future they want and they desire and they deserve for that. And I think that matches our core values here, matches like the philosophy of the board. Like I said, you said that conversation on this a little bit. And we just want to continue to integrate that in to everything we're doing here today. So congratulations to the whole CA school community. It's certainly a good recognition for the hard work we're doing in a small district in upstate New York. Forward to working with colleagues and our teachers work with their colleagues.
In terms of the every child has an ally, where are we at with that? Well, we've talked about Where are we at?
So then you're gonna have a full big time report in June.
Okay.
So, the reason we put it off is the principals want to come with some data.
Okay.
So there's something to work off of instead of just. Time and smash. So they're coming in a little bit of data from the beginning of the year and then the end of the year, hopefully. And then talk about where we are and where we're headed.
Plan.
Yes.
Leadership team information. Dr. Hulu.
Right, so I wanted to give a SEP plan update, but I figured I'd start with a little overview of the SEP plan, just to remind, just to remind everybody of where we're at. So SEP stands for the School Comprehensive Education Plan. So that is a plan that our middle school has to do because we were identified for growth for our white subgroup of students. So basically what that means is over a period of 3 years, this is actually 6 years ago because COVID kind of set us off and kept us identified. For 3 years in a row, the subgroup of white students on their specific growth is not based on achievement. It's based on if Ryan took the test in say 2014, they have this magic box formula that used to say how he should do in 2015. And for our students in that subcategory, they didn't perform as high as what the state would expect them to be. So we were in the bottom 11% to that. So that's how we were identified for our SEP plan. So that's what we've been working on to fix our growth. That is, I always like to tell everybody, because we talked about this in the middle school, that is in comparison to all the school districts in New York, with the exception of the Big Five. And the Big Five are Buffalo, New York City, Rochester, Syracuse, Yonkers, and Utica. So basically, they take out the city schools. It's Albany in there too. It's not Utica, it's Albany.
No.
I'm like, wait a minute, Albany should be there. So what we have to do for that is that the state comes, they give you a template, you have to fill out an action plan on how you're going to address growth and how you're going to increase scores. They give you money to do it, which is nice. So we get $250,000 a year to address it. They give you 4 different categories you can pick to work on. You could choose, there's a principal coaching unit that you can belong to, an instructional coaching unit you can belong to, restorative practices that you can belong to, or high school redesign. Obviously, it's our middle school, so high school redesign wasn't an option for us. So we're in the restorative practices cohort. So we get support from the state in terms of our implementing our restorative practices. We use some of that money for that, and then we have some flexibility with some of the other 250. So we've done a lot of different things over the course of the last 5 years. And the good news is that we just had a meeting. So we've done some pray, but Dave Coker also gets a lot of credit along with the teachers in the middle school. We have been told that barring anything crazy, we should be off the list. We won't find out officially that we're off the list until the latter part of the fall. So we'll still have to do the action plan as we've done in the past, but that we have made progress. One of the things that we needed to make some progress on initially, so this again is going back 6 years, was participation rate, because we had a lot of students opt out. Our participation rate did improve, so that's one piece, and I think that helped our scores in general, with our growth scores to improve. But again, we didn't have tests at all in 2020. Our participation rate wasn't that great in 2021, but of the kids that took it, we did fairly well, and hopefully this year it will probably take us until the end of August, beginning of September to get our scores back, even though the kids took the test in March and April. They feel confident. We were almost off the list back in 2019. They had the same conversation with us in December of 2019, and then there were no tests in 2020, so we had to stay on the list. But again, we got $250,000. So it's a double-edged sword in the sense of, I really like the money, because I just like money in general. But at the same time, we obviously have worked really hard to try and improve and not be on this list anymore. So that is the update. So that does mean we do have to meet and create the SEP plan. So I was going to ask too if there was a board member that might be interested in sitting on that SEP plan, because I know we've talked about this off and on over the years. And we might want to, I know it's our last go around on it. But
Do
if
you do
somebody-
it during the day?
Usually we do, yes, because teachers sit in on it, so we get volunteers, the union gives us some volunteers, and then we have at least one parent or two, and then like also have students, so it's really the students that can make it. But we have done it virtually, it's another benefit of COVID, so we could look at that, so one or two people want to think about that and get that.
You need to know about.
We will probably be starting that process. We're usually supposed to have the plan done by the 1st of July, so we'll probably be starting it the first week in June. So we'll be over by the end of the month. And then whoever it is, and we always do that, whatever the teachers are, the parents are, we just as a group try and come up with some concept. And they always say to do the 1st of July, and then you always get an email that says, but if you take you to the 1st of August, that's fine too. So sometimes, I believe last year we met over the summer, right, Fred?
We did meet over the summer.
I think it's like the 3rd, no, it's like the 8th or 9th of July. Sorry, I can't see you. But we're very excited that we are working our way off the list. We are a little sad to lose the money.
Why do they use racial subgroups?
So what they do in general is they give you, so you get an overall score, just how your kids are doing in general. And then they break it down by each subcategory. So the subcategories are both by racial, then also by socioeconomic and by students with disabilities. So basically what they're trying to do is give you information. Okay, you might be doing really great with this group of students, but you're kind of missing the boat on this group of students, so you need to put a little bit more effort into it. One of the subgroups is also English as a second language students would also be another subgroup. So it's really done as more of an informational, so you're not leaving anybody, goes back to that no child left behind. So you're not leaving anybody behind. You can only get scores in a subgroup if you have enough students in that subgroup. So you'll find for us, there are certain subgroups we don't get a score in because we don't have enough indigenous people.
Right.
Island Pacific, we don't get scores in that, but it's really designed to make you take a moment and just take a look and make sure that you know your kids' head. I'm very proud of the fact that of the subgroups we have enough students in, they are making good progress. That the one that we got tagged for really represents, unfortunately, most of our students, but at least it means we're not failing a small subgroup. We just needed to improve instruction across the board.
Thank you.
The interest now, you were thinking?
Oh, I teach, I have students all day. I don't get.
Well, I wonder about the.
Oh, no, I
summer.
am interested in helping with this. I just am trying to think
Yeah,
in
yeah.
my brain about how
Anybody
I would
else
make it work.
would like-
Yeah, I can be available during the day, so.
In the summer,
One of
yeah.
the few who can be available during the day.
Does a 2-year-old, a 2-year-old count as a student involvement?
Student moments have to be in the middle school, but
But that counts me out, sorry.
we can, if as long as we get the extension, and we'll check and see what the crew is that want to be on the committee. Traditionally, we've had, Josh Gray was on it last year, Lisa McNeil or April Bergman last year.
No, it's not. Or the other? No.
No, we needed a math person.
Betsy?
Anyway, I can tell you, it's actually posted on the website, but I'll reach out to both of you and
Yeah,
just let you know.
If we can help, I will.
Yeah, they might, if we do it virtually, they might want to do it in the evening time. We've had some people say that, I'd be happy to do a meeting as long as it's virtual, and then we can do it at 6 o'clock. So I'll put you down.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
Thank you.
And you probably already thought of this, but if you have a plan to bring up numbers to a certain level, you probably want to keep it, right?
Oh, yeah, just
Like
because
it won't
we don't
end
have to
when
send it
we're
to
off the
the
list,
state.
we'll still have a plan.
They're still gonna track you.
Yes.
And
They're
they-
still gonna want to go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
'Cause
could be on it
would
and off it
guess,
and then on it again.
Right,
Yeah.
that we would be interested in hearing, even when we're off the list,
Mhm.
how we're doing.
Right.
Yeah,
And what'll be nice too is, because the state, and they totally redesigned it for this past year, they give you a template that you have to follow. that has pillars on it. It's very difficult to follow. It doesn't present it like the way that we present it for our lake schools and work on it that way. So it'll be nice that we'll be able to continue to present it like the fashion that we present our lake schools. We do try to keep them all interconnected, but we had commitments this past year. They changed it all. I think they do it, so I can't cut and paste the year before, but they changed it and we had to do commitments. So I don't know if we'll be doing commitments again.
It's commitments again.
Is it commitments again?
Yeah, but it's a slightly different form. That's on purpose. She is.
I swear they do that, and I'm not saying that I would cut and paste, but there could be some school districts who just cut and paste. So we do a very nice job of looking over how it's done, and again, my hat's off to the middle school teachers, because I know they put a lot of effort in and really looking at the data and trying our best to make sure that we're providing enough rigor, because I think it's where we started out the process with the conversation that we'll be starting the kids at a level high enough to make sure that they make those all through middle school. And I think we made great strides in that.
So this might sound naive. We're actually starting in pre-K, right? Trying to get them to a level,
yes.
not as soon as they hit middle school.
Correct, yes. It's always a K-12 perspective on anything that you get, and as far as like graduation has to start at pre-K. But yes, this is the only one we have to write.
I know we keep talking about that, but like,
State-approved.
well, we need those basics down here and now pre-K in our school. Let's start. And then,
And the pre-K teachers are doing a great job.
One of the things to remember is that it's not like a benchmark that you have to hit, because they look at the lowest, it's 10%, right? 11. So if we make great strides and somebody below us makes slightly better strides, we're still in that lowest. So we can be very successful, but wind up back on the list again because the whole bar moved up.
oh, exactly.
So you're always,
Well, data,
It's
yeah.
norm, just norm.
But I would love for our pre-K through 12
Oh, yeah.
to be high up. I don't care if they don't make the improvement. We need them to be able to read, write,
And to
do their
sustain
math,
it,
they
yeah.
need their basics. So
Absolutely.
I don't care about the benchmarks, to be honest with you. I want
Right.
them all.
And we want to be looking at, because I think what you're talking about, and what is very important is that we have measures that don't have anything to do with the state tests as well, that we can be. The state tests happen once a year, and as I'm saying, they move that cut point all over the place every year. So yes, absolutely, we should continue talking about that. And we'll continue to talk
Yeah, because we're always talking about college career ready. You need to read, write, and do your
Yeah.
math. So
And then just another thought, just to throw this out there, is that we really need to be mindful of our RTI support and providing it for kids, even if they're starting to like make the gains and like, you know, keeping that support there so that they stay there. Because I know like in math, like particularly in some of these, like 5th, 6th grade, even 4th, 5th, 6th grade, like what happens, like you do a concept and then sometimes then the concept changes. So it looks like their scores are going up, but yet the initial problem is still there. You know what I mean? And we do a lot of movement of kids in and out of RTI. And it just seems as though lately, the last couple of years, we've been kind of diminishing that service. So I just want to be mindful. If we do get off, it's amazing. And I'm so proud of you guys for all the hard work, but we gotta keep the supports in place and really be mindful of those kids that need it, you know? And it's hard. I mean, I work in a public school, I get it, but I just mean like, it's just something that bothers me when we think about this, about RTI sport. And maybe because it's what I do, but just, it's important to keep those kids afloat.
No, I think you actually hit the nail on the head. What's so important is making sure that those skill gaps are closed, because they could have a skill gap that makes them okay with this one
Yeah.
concept, but then they move on to the next concept. It was still the same gap, but it was hidden when they were covering this, and now it's very clear when they're covering that. And we decided, we met, we had a K-6 curriculum meeting specifically on math with the math cadre the other day, and that's one of the things they talked about, that there were certain vocabulary and certain pieces, so they're gonna meet again in June, but certain pieces where they felt like when a kid missed it as early as kindergarten, that they didn't necessarily cover it in 1st grade, but then it might come back around in 2nd grade. And then the 6th grade math teacher was talking about certain skills from 3rd grade where they didn't touch them on in 4th grade. They might touch them a bit in 5th grade, but then when the kid got to 6th grade, it was very clear that they hadn't gotten it back in third grade. So how do we ensure that those, discrete skills, those little pieces are there so that when the time comes, they've got to add all those little pieces together to do the really big piece, when you're at the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, that it's there. So skill development is very important in pinpointing what the skills are that the kids don't have, so that you can really clearly close those gaps versus, just helping them in that moment on that assignment.
Everybody, Dr. Mercer, everybody who's been, Dave Poker, if he's watching, everybody who's been. But everybody who's worked hard on this project. We could have a business and finance update, Mr. Palmer.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Mr.
sorry.
Donahue, Carrie, have we made any progress with having a meeting? I had requested that we meet with the history department, that maybe Tara and I, to talk about land acknowledgements and what they need from us in planning. Do we
Yeah,
have a
so I
date?
met with them recently. I'm sorry what day it was, but so they actually said, give us like a week just to go back, and they want to gather all the stuff they have, so to speak.
Okay,
And then when they have their stuff, then we're gonna send it.
okay, great, thank
So
you.
they've obviously got some things already that will help
Can they,
expedite the process. so to
but can
speak.
they give us like a couple dates and like make sure that we're okay with the dates too? Because,
I'd like to be there if I could.
Well,
yeah,
that's what I mean, right, yeah,
Okay.
they're gathering their,
just because from the email, it was like, they're gonna give you, we'll tell you when the meeting is, and I was like, well, wait a minute, I thought this was like
I thought it's a
the liaison committee that was leading it, and they were helping us, so I just want to make sure that
Oh, well,
I'm available for whatever date it
Right, yeah,
is,
yeah.
not
yeah,
just,
so they're gonna get their stuff and we'll create a meeting there.
thank you, sorry.
Mr. Palmer.
All right, another health and welfare services update from Rensselaer City School District this time for students attending Dylan Stewart. That was just the part A there, wanted to share that with you guys. The second one there, I have a Western Agree lease agreement. The lease agreement for the copier for the SPED office had expired, so we're looking to renew that. In addition to adding a copier down in the high school office suite. The printer in the high school office suite will replace the multiple color printers that keep breaking in the high school office suite. So we have one centralized printer in there. I think that we find it's going to be a lot more cost effective so far.
So that would be for the guidance office, right?
What's that?
Essentially for the guidance
It's
office.
for the high school office suite, which includes the guidance office, yes. Yep. The next one is the annual reserve status. I want to provide the presentation for you guys ahead of time. Really the main one I just want to point to your attention is the capital reserve slide. Just because we did establish this reserve back on May 20th, 2014, it does have a 10-year lifespan. At this time, I do not have an exact recommendation to renew it because I am waiting on our attorneys to just lay out what exactly needs to be done in what specific order, just so we're in compliance with what we need to do there. Anybody have any questions on the reserve status? Presentation was awesome. Outdoor field improvements, May 10th was the closing date for the bids to come in. We received two. One was from Halstead, the other from Louisi Brothers. Halstead was ultimately, looking over the bids, the company to go with for projects 1, 2, 3, and 3A. So later on in the minutes, you will see us proposing to award them the bid for that. After that, finally, the DCMO cooperative purchase agreement finally came through for the diesel fuel bid for the 22-23 school year. We would like to go with Marabito because they were the only company that could offer us fixed pricing. So we wouldn't fluctuate with the market, rather we'd be at the fixed, which, speaking with local school business officials, that's what they all seem to want to do because it guarantees the number that we can budget towards rather than fluctuating with this ever volatile market we have with fuel. That is for a
Good faith estimate of $35,000, but a total capped estimate of gallons, and a total estimated cap of 40,000 gallons. Under that, the fixed price for our non-blended diesel came in at $4.72. Let me just read this out for you. 4.7268, because God forbid we just go to hundreds of dollars and cents. Dollars per gallon for the regular, and for the blend, $4.8944 per gallon on that. Kerosene, which is sometimes used for the blend end of things, was on there. That's on an as needed basis at $5, $5.2853 per gallon. Driving me nuts. Sorry. Any questions on the fuel bill?
I had a question on the outdoor field improvements. What is that? I read 1, 2, 3, A.
1, 2, 3, and 3. Yep,
Is that all
it's all in the.
over that way?
There's one of the improvements is the white elephant.
Yes.
Okay, the white elephant out there is just improving the drainage essentially on that end of things. It's improving the fields on the opposite side of that, behind it, but not so much the, it's right up from the street up until that swale that's currently there.
Corner lot.
The corner lot that separates that lot and the current go-kart track field area. That one field is included in there. Project 3A was the removal of dirt if we need to go that route, just more on an as-need basis. And the other part is the drainage behind the middle school. Right.
But the goal here of these three parts is to get the water moving off our campus, going where it's going. So it all sits behind the middle school. It's supposed to, everything works right. Back in the day, it flowed all the way to the railroad track. Now, so that's the goal, to get it going back that way. But actually, after Mike and I looked at it all and checked with some people, we're probably gonna have some of it drained over by the white elephant. We're actually have that go back to the retention pond and then so that we actually might be able to get rid of one sway out of the corner lot, which gives us more practice field space for that.
And
All
that,
things work correctly, there won't be as much standing water. So
that will set us up for like a capital project in the future, like if needed to replace those fields at some point, like those will be documented clearly where those pipes are being, so we don't re-dig them up for.
There's,
No, in our
Good
luck.
point.
we've also discussed with Paulstad, the area between the brand new sod field and the old varsity soccer field. There's a wet area there to address, as well as the softball field. That discussion.
And that would be included in these monies?
Great.
Has there been any suggestion on how to, on that specific area you just mentioned? Has there been any discussion on what specifically they can do there? No?
I haven't gotten any specifics on it yet, but it's more of just the evaluation stages with that.
But that would be included in this cost?
Correct. Correct. So when the bids come in, it was project number, dollar amount, project number, dollar amount. It wasn't, bring in 18 yards of this and then dump it and then grade it with that. It wasn't all that specific on it yet.
And is there, and I may have missed it, is there a date for the start? When is the date for the start of this?
I don't know yet. Well, they're waiting for it to be approved tonight, and then,
Okay.
and then they will.
Pick a date.
We don't have a date yet.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll let you know when we know.
They're just the soccer fields for August, right?
The one.
The soccer fields and stuff for sports, if you're.
Yes, the goal is to get it done over before we get to that point.
Most of the playing field shouldn't really be touched too much, except for those drainage areas, but again.
Well, because I know like Henry Hudson typically uses the field over there too, when that's over
Yeah,
the summer, so.
It shouldn't really be on the fields. 'Cause
And I did ask why we couldn't take it out of our budget for the capital project. Ryan had a very good answer. I did ask, because I'm like, why are we paying? if
He's
we
not
have
sure.
a reserve?
I don't remember my answer.
Oh, gee.
Oh, we've already closed out. There we go. Sorry.
I was trying to give you the spotlight, right?
He is in the
I mean, blew it.
I appreciate the opportunity, but
leave it- we did the 19 project, we did the tennis courts and stuff first, and then we closed out that phase of the project, so it's not really proper to go back and do more field work after we've done it.
And our other project that's open is not have that type of funding.
It's a different scope of work.
So like
Okay.
mostly
Well,
electrical.
I know we have like the
100,000
one that
ish,
we
that's why I was
wouldn't,
asking.
yeah. the one we just did.
Yeah, so that scope is primarily. electrical.
Okay,
The reason we were able to kind of pick out that in there is because the scope is
similar, okay, fair enough.
Everybody saw that update where we are, basically just waiting for stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got through the diesel fuel. The only other thing I did want to add, there have been some questions asked on social media, emails to board members, I'm told, and such about the cost per thousand as it relates to the tax levy increase. To give a tax per thousand update, that's essentially what's my tax rate going to be. The tax rate is really heavily dependent on three things. It's your tax levy, it's your assessment value, and it's the equalization rates. The assessment values come to us from each of the towns, the 4 towns that represent our district. We haven't gotten that yet. We typically get that in June. Equalization rates come to us from the Department of Tax and Finance at the state level. We typically get that in July. So, sorry, both of them come in July. So with that, I really can't give a cost per thousand estimate on what your taxes are going to look like. I know I had a very pleasant conversation today with a taxpayer on the phone. And the best thing I can tell you to do at this point is if you want to take last year's tax amount and multiply it by the tax levy increase, 2.92%. So it'd be 1.0292 would be your multiplier. That'll give you a rough idea, but please don't hold that to us because that does not consider changing equalization rates or changing assessments. That only considers if the assessments stay the same and if the equalization rates stay the same, which is not very likely. Sure, they will vary. I don't know how much. So I did just want to put that in there for everybody.
And the timing of when we get that, we'll approve the actual tax rates,
Yeah.
either
Yep.
in July, meeting with the office, or regular tax rates.
Right.
It's, that's why we always say estimated tax levy increase each year, of the budget. So that's estimate. When assessments go up, it's a good thing in some ways. It means stuff like that. Generally, it'll go less.
And if anybody wants further education on equalization rates, there's a beautifully crafted video posted on our website last summer. Wow.
He's in the spotlight.
He's trying to get that.
Just hit like, so I know somebody watched it.
Call your mom, maybe she'll know.
They can do that though.
Put your kids to sleep. And I said, you can put your kids to sleep. I'm just kidding.
Principals and directors updates. However order you would like to go.
Mix it up. Mix it up, then. Come on, Bill.
The support services. So we have the monthly letter sent out to the parents at the middle school that summarized that we had the building relationship for May. Counselors went into the classrooms to do guidance team activities, so the students got to learn a little bit about each other and try to guess what student they belong to in their class. Did a huge 7th grade community circle with different buildings that they put together that they heard people say or said about each other on social media, and they did that with health class and Dr. Mercer was giving was one of this, and they were trying to figure out how we address this. So we started with the circle process where we invited high school students also to facilitate those circles that we had, and then adults with them. So a lot of the high schoolers, I think, have 19 that volunteered. We like, and that could also be fine for like our mentoring next year. Supporting the middle school students. And they did a really nice job, and it was really eye-opening for the whole school community, especially high school, to see like what struggles were for 7th grade and start plans how to make it better. If it's all probably much of anything yet, but it's a good step in the right direction. And that is in the update as well. And we're starting all our transition scheduling for fourth grade. I believe the part today by Mitchell talk about fifth grade. Next month, eighth grade is meeting with the ninth grade counselors and the teachers, so that's coming forth. And tonight we had 20 students and fourth and fifth grade, the nurses put together just around the corner, so that was nice to bring back this year. It was done previously, and the nurses did a wonderful job tonight, having 20 girls and their families coming for fifth grade to talk about the changes. Yeah, that's all I have.
At CE, I always report what we're doing and celebrating. One thing that you didn't see in the highlights that I said on Sunday night is we worked with Hope's Mission and Maureen to develop a list of kids that we needed to support over the summer and make sure that they had all the things that they needed in terms of supporting completion of summer school registration forms, to food and home services that they need, how to get lunch and breakfast. And 28 families were contacted on our half day on Tuesday. My TA team reached out to all those families and had good long conversations with the ones they were able to reach and be able to connect them with the services that they needed. Also, we have our big community service walk tomorrow for Child Mind Institute, so please join us on the track. Our little guys will be starting at 9:30, walking all the way until noon. Each grade level has a certain time that's been posted everywhere. And they're pretty excited to finish their community service project and to be able to support this organization.
No, Nicole, you should do it. Wild and crazy.
Okay, we are wild and crazy. We've been just so busy in tech services. We've had a wonderful week. But we did want to recognize Ms. Hopkins, who is our career ambassador, and she runs the cash bar. But they had a wonderful readiness day with over 20 companies that were here. It was just a fantastic day. So sorry. She did a fantastic job, but more importantly, like the students helped greet, our cash students helped, and it was just a great event for both her and the cash students. The cash students also assisted us today when we re-enrolled all the iPads that came into school today, or the ones that were already here in the elementary school. They were side by side with us. Students gave up lunchtime and study hall to stay with us throughout the day. Students that used to be in cash were helping us, plus our partner companies of BOCES and National sent staff to support our work today as well. We're really pleased that by the end of the day, we were able to reestablish all connections with iPads that were in school today. So it was very exciting for the last 24 hours. Everybody was incredibly supportive. It was a phenomenal thing to watch everybody interact today. It really was. I just can't congratulate people enough for everybody who jumped in to help. So we had a lot of excitement.
All right, this past weekend was our Margaret Schmidt Memorial 5K PTO fun run, and it was probably the biggest crowd we've had. So it was really nice to see everybody come out and support the PTO. It is their biggest fundraiser. We had National Honor Society students come down, also Junior Honor Society. A lot of teachers and staff that came down to help out. Fire department, EMS, police, just a really great event. And as you all know, Margaret, people just come out for her. Also want to thank the cafe, as you know, they supported the girls running club with their t-shirts. So they all wore their t-shirts and they had a live stream Facebook interview after the race. So that's kind of fun to see. And then last night we had a full house for our 4th grade spring concert. And the kids did a great job. The spring-away even incorporated some xylophones into the concert. It was really well attended.
Okay,
Right.
unless you want
No,
to,
go
you want to wrap it up tonight. He just said age before puberty, which is incredibly rude. So at the middle school, we're coaches tonight. We're good on that. So at the middle school, you saw our weekly, the May good news. We've got a few things coming up that are not on the good news. We are going to, on May 31st, we have representatives from the American Legion are going to come and do a flag ceremony. 5th grade is going to sit in person. We're going to stream it for everybody else. And the 7th and 8th grade band is going to play the Star Spangled Banner, which they were very nervous that they were going to have to. It's okay that it's streaming, but they did not want to play it in the auditorium in front of everybody. 5th grade was okay with it. So, you know, a little bit of stage fright, but we're excited about that. It's not something we've done before. 5th grade has really taken the reins for some trips. They're going to Unbridled Thoroughbred, so they're taking the reins, but they're also knowing that kids missed the bike trip down to Bronx House. 5th grade will be taking a bicycle trip down to Bronx House and visiting the Bronx House Museum. And somehow I got roped into bicycling down to Bronx House. So that'll be fun. That's coming up in June. 7th and 8th grade is taking a trip to Patrick Park and doing the ropes course. We've got some other things going on. So a lot, cramming a lot into the last 5 weeks of school at the middle school. And now,
So today we had our mock DWI event because, as you know, prom is Saturday. We had everyone from Athens, Cato, Coxsackie Fire, the village police, state police, sheriffs, all showed up. We had about 150 students out there to watch the whole event. It was powerful. The cars are still out in the back. If you want to go look at the 2 cars that are kind of sawed up right now. We had 5 actors that were students help out with that. Like I said, we hadn't done it since 2019, but it was powerful. And I thanked everyone for coming. I didn't think we could have that many cops or fire engines show up in the back parking lot, but they were there. The other thing I had was we had 2 students recognized, one junior, Sam Mazzillo, and one senior was Gabe Hoagland. They were recognized by Greene County for outstanding area youth. I don't know if anyone saw that letter. Sam is a junior here, and he is the Greene County Youth of the Year. And Gabe is a senior here, and he is the Children, Youth, and Community Advisory Board Chairman Choice of the Year. So it was, I have all of Greene County, I think that's phenomenal to our students. So the other thing I had was Readiness Day, which was phenomenal, and I'll give all props again to Ms. Hopkins. She was phenomenal, and having 20+ businesses here ready to hire our students. They were registered to vote. We had a lot of different things. So it was a phenomenal event, and she deserved all the credit for that.
Everybody get a chance? Anybody want another chance?
Yes, anybody?
I know our sports teams are very busy too. I don't know who can comment on that, but you're up on it.
Our girls track and field team just won a Platoon Conference championship, undefeated so far. Our girls softball team made the sectionals for the first time since 2013. Our baseball team just won the first round sectional game against Greenville. That always feels good. And who else? I'm missing anything.
Track?
Oh, tennis, yeah, Leo.
Tennis.
Tennis is sectionals tomorrow.
Yep, tennis,
Leo
Leo
South.
won.
Patrol.
Retreat house.
Yeah. Great. But yeah. Spring athletics is going very, very well.
Great.
And all the teams are qualified to be scholar athletes.
Nice, very nice. Thanks for everybody's support. Okay, we have one piece of correspondence that we all received on the board. And then I have one public comment on this.
Well, our principals come each month and tell all the good news that's happening in our school and what great work their teachers and students are doing. So I'm here to turn the tables and give some good news about Mr. Martino, who was our very humble principal down at EJA. And when I was in his office a couple of weeks ago, he's got this large plaque hanging on his wall that he just received from the Athens Fire Department for having such a strong partnership with them and being so supportive with them in their education of fire safety for our students. And I don't know who knew, but they always come and honor us. So I wanted to come and honor Mr. Martino.
Should make another speech.
Yeah.
All I can say is really the Athens Fire Department, they do all the work, they're amazing. And I'm happy to support what they do, what they teach the kids. And at the night of the evening of the event, there was a table of a lot of CA students who are firefighters now there. So you can see how that they really cultivate the firefighters.
Well, thank you. Thank you for staying an hour and a half. Recognize Mr. Martino. Okay, just need a motion. We want to take an executive session to talk about a few personal issues before we move on. So need a motion for that.
Second.
A second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. So we'll go back to the library.
All the time. That's all.
Do that.
Thank you.
What about you and your purple? Good job.
Okay. Executive session, if we're all ready. Just need a motion of consent to approve. Superintendent's recommendations. 1, A, B, 2, A, 3, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 1, D, 1, E, 1, F, nothing. G, 1, 2, H, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, and 7. So,
Second.
any discussion?
Random discussion. Most of the positions seem to be good for sports, but no modified soccer coach?
We just haven't had, I talked to her, right? It just hasn't had anybody put it forward yet.
No. Are we looking outside of the school now? For like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Get it, Bill.
No, I know, I just have some people in mind was all, that, but they're not in the school.
Get Mr. Wilson.
But I know that you guys like to do canvas the teachers and staff typically first. So I didn't want to bring it up if it wasn't.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was already posted publicly, because like the JV coach doesn't work. I mean, he's been a coach in the past.
Well,
but
no,
It was just a girl.
might know. Okay, you don't usually put coaches on all last.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But again, it's always been, you know, same thing. Some people will not be applying. It's up.
Good. I didn't know if it was open to that yet. So.
Anything else?
So just, well, yeah, if you don't mind. So, tenure appointments, and I'm just gonna go out of order because Dawn is here. This is, most of you may know, this is Dawn, I guess, is a health licensed teaching assistant here in our district. So she told her I would be recommending her for tenure. All right. But, so, Dawn's been in our high school library, and a lot of times she's basically a partner with Kim in there, you know, as far as helping that library become what we wanted it to be when we had, renovations and all that. So great with the kids. You know, she was the greeter every morning during all of COVID in the one wing there. The fastest thermometer in the West. But and everything else. We're just glad to have her in the high school. I know Ray was there and Bill. You know, very, very positive.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your recommendation. It's been a pleasure being a part of the CA family, and, you know, I'm happy to know that I had an opportunity to show you my work and be a part of everything here. So I love it.
We stole you from Chatham.
Thank
right?
you.
Don't we steal you from Chatham?
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically feel better.
Well, thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
You lost today.
Staying 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I just did want to congratulate Kate Van Everbeck, who will be getting tenure tonight. She's currently one of our pre-K teachers, who did a phenomenal job. Brandy was here earlier with that. And I also like to congratulate Dr. Mercer, who will be getting tenure in July. That's when she started.
Thank you very much. I love it here, so thank you.
Look forward to the work she's going to do with the middle school and make that a 100% cultural care kind of place. Just also the probationary appointments. I'll get a report to the board before the June meeting, how many people applied for each position. We just do it all on one sheet and get them all done. We've got some fantastic people here, you know, coming in. Gina Peterson's a CA grad. Right? So she's back in town, so to speak. In Chicago area, so it's like a special ed teacher. And then that's her name, Nina Ferraro. She's actually lives in Athens. She's currently in ONC BOCES, so she'll be coming ONC BOCES counselor. And then Allison Burns is Bill ran into some people. Bill knows everybody, by the way, in the capital region. It seems like, I don't know why. He's a coach. That's a good thing. Yeah, we knew some administrators who had worked with her, and they said, you better hire her. You know, that kind of thing. So she's at all leadership charter. So, excited to that. And some people know the story, but I'll tell the story not in the public. It's a good story. Mr. Taylor knows a little bit about it. Catskill was interviewing her. It would be Catskill. Then Margaret Madonna, another great candidate for English. You saw her resume. Have her on.
Who's from Lansing?
Margaret, yeah.
So even
I did not coach. She contacted.
He's proud of the coach.
She contacted me.
What? No, I don't like it because we don't go out and seek them.
No.
When they,
Well, it's just when they make the decision. You're good. Okay.
like us, they know it's a good place. They know the grass is very green here. So we're excited about having Margaret. She has some experience at the Berg, so she's excited to come here as well.
And also, just Jen Madden, I forgot to look, she's retiring to be our tax collector. Don't know how long she's been doing
A
that.
long time.
Long time. So that's a conversation Ryan and I are gonna have, a transition from that, post, if you will, and that we appreciate, you can only imagine what a tax collector might have to deal with. Most people who call up their taxes are happy. So, she's done a fantastic job. Appreciate Jennifer's updates.
Good,
You'd be good at that job.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Business. Next. The motion to turn to approve. One. And something separate, Mr. Bond?
Bill schedules, number 2. Should be April 31st, not March 31st. I thought I made that change earlier. And let me just check. On number 1 as well, it should read March 31st, 2022, because some of those are from March. And we could also add April 30th, 2022. I apologize, I thought I made those changes.
X1A.
Yep, X1A and 2A. 2A should be solely April 30th, 2022. X1A should be March 31st, 2022, and April 30th, 2022, only because some of those are from March.
So, motion to approve with Ryan's dates. 1 through
One second.
9. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, so carried. Sorry. Is there another addendum? So, motion to approve personnel matters. The summer technology worker, Jordan. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, so carried. For the last public input. Bill? No.
I have a question. Where's prom?
Oh, and
Prom.
Hudson.
Prom, oh, it's at the
Are-
falls. Prom. I think it's at the falls.
Prom?
Prom is at the halls.
The falls. Isn't it?
Falls. Falls. Tom. Is at the fall. Yeah, coronation is here at 5 o'clock. And
5.
That's what I've been told.
6.
Wow, nobody
No, I'll
knows.
be here.
You just freaked out.
Well, my hair appointment is at 4:30.
Yes, coronation is at 6 and then prom starts at. I have to be there at 7.
They're allowing people in to, it's gonna be inside or anything?
It's supposed to be like 99.
Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be really
Yeah.
hot,
Saturday.
yeah.
So we decided to do it inside. And yes, people can-
Oh, so you're doing the coronation inside? Kids, they just get babied these days.
Okay, any good news? Tara?
Sure, I will start. Just,
PTO.
no, I mean, there's always PTO in the news. We sold budget raffle tickets like mad, budget night, and we raised almost $4,000 between that and the dinner that we did. So that was
That's awesome.
a lot of work, but it
The
was
dinner was great.
fun. And then props to Ms. Hopkins. I was here for career day in the afternoon for the Village of Coxsackie Summer Rec Program. And we are looking for a couple of new counselors to add into our mix. And I felt bad. I kept sending Ms. Lindman to get more and more copies because I probably handed out 25 applications and did not think that that many teenagers would want to hang out with little kids. So I was not prepared.
That's great.
Yeah, it was fun. So we'll hold interviews in June sometime, and applications are due by June 1st. So we're excited.
Nice. Nicole?
I just wanted to thank the community for having faith in me to serve another 3 years. And I wanted to congratulate the staff and students for almost making it to the end. I don't know about you guys, but I have a 3 Monday countdown already. There's only 3 Mondays left, at least at elementary in my world. Yeah, so I think you guys are all doing a good job. Keep up the good work, stay the course. We're almost there.
Just want to thank again all those members of the community that ran for school board to step up. Also want to send out compliments to the buildings and grounds crew for an exceptional job they've done this spring and getting the fields ready under extreme conditions when the grass is growing like crazy. Early on, we had some snow and some rain and wind, and so thanks to those folks.
It was really nice to hear what's going on. I wish I was at the job fair. That's amazing. I'm so happy to hear that's happening. And I hope it grows and gets much bigger. Great job at the EJA, PTA, that Margaret Schmidt. Just
Yeah.
thanks for remembering. Thank you. Sorry. I didn't know that was coming.
Congratulations to Nicole and Mike, and thank you, Maureen, for all your years of service, and thank you to the community for passing our budget. I know we all had a lot of questions on that, so.
I guess congratulations to Coach Caldwell. I mean, he's got an amazing program he's put together here. The girls team's undefeated this year in a very deep conference, and then they went to their conference championships and they won that. It was 11 o'clock, I think, last night when we got home from that. And they're all up in that school again this morning. It was midnight last Friday when they got home from the meet. You know, and then they were at the 5K the next morning at 8:30 ready to run that. So just tremendous enthusiasm that there is in the program. And scholar athletes doing good things.
And a lot of those kids had to take regents today, didn't they?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Some perseverance for.
APs.
Oh, APs. Oh, an AP exam, sorry.
You feel this.
What's that?
You feel this.
Oh, sorry. I got it wrong. You got coronation time wrong though. So we're
Thank you, Karen, for providing me with the information to make sure as many families are covered by our CA community as they possibly can. So thanks.
Okay, I just echo what everybody else said. It's funny though, this countdown, my granddaughter's count, I think it's 23 days, and today was camp day, maybe, or no, she was out today. It was yesterday. So they put these things over their, like sheets over their desks, and they hit under the desk, and that was their task. So every day is a different, I think it must be for the alphabet, like.
Yeah.
Yes. I was watching Mr. Caldwell with the kids that Saturday, and the intensity that they would pay attention to him. I never had a kid pay attention to me. Just to watch, and you know, he's talking about track and your daughter was just pretty cool to watch, and I no doubt they're gonna. I think he's pretty feeling pretty positive about how far they're gonna go. That's terrific.
He's pretty enthusiastic.
He is, I know, he is. It's tough to do in the morning at 8 o'clock, obviously. But I thanks to the community though for giving the confidence to us to pass the budget. And I guess then we move on to future meetings. I don't have it here, but is it June?
Oh,
Do we, 16th maybe, is the next
that was
board meeting?
a epic fail.
And then we'll have
No meeting.
committee meetings in between.
We get a month off then, right? Decision made.
Ryan and I like.
Motion made, there's no meeting in
Why, whose
June.
birthday is it?
Ryan's birthday.
So
far that-
What's the date?
My wife's birthday,
What's her birthday? The 16th?
the 16th.
Bring her.
I was here for Hannah's birthday.
That'll go over so well.
Bring the kids.
I'll take you to dinner, honey.
I have to sleep outside. I'm already on the couch.
It's gonna be a nice weekend. It's really hot. So, are we good with approving the CSC minutes? Or we're just-
Yeah.
Yeah, Casey's just texting me. She said, any
Did we get a
questions?
date?
She's not feeling well,
Yeah, so.
but if you had any questions, like, call her up. and whatever.
June
All
16th.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried. Okay, can go back to- Right, so I just need a motion to adjourn. Anybody want to adjourn? So moved. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried.